Hey, everybody.
Hi,
All right,
everyone.
little technical difficulty with the microphone there. We had to drop our microphones at the very last second.
It's fine. Everything's fine. We are live here. We are live here. Hello, everyone. Look at all of you already jumping in to say hello where you're coming from. We are so thrilled to be with all of you tonight. This is going out to the entire RV Miles community.
For those of you that are new here, we normally do these monthly live streams first Monday of every month for our paid RV Miles community mile markers, folks. But this month we decided to open it up to everybody because we have a few really cool announcements about the mile marker community and about our upcoming meetup event happening later this summer. But we want to talk about that a little bit later.
We're going to talk about it now. First off, we're going to dig into our cocktails. Jason and I are drinking homemade margaritas tonight, as we have been we had to over the last week and a half really go through all of our liquor. We have a bar, I don't know, here in Bexley.
We stuff a few bottles in the, underneath the dinette, but we're in Canada, so
but we couldn't bring all of that with us to go into Canada.
Crossing the border, you're only allowed a certain amount of alcohol. Turns out nobody cared and nobody looked at anything, but we could have been inspected and we just weren't. So
they looked at us and were like, whatever those two have, they probably need. Just let them through.
They talked to us for a very long time, like about where we're going and stuff, but not to like suss us out, like to give us advice.
So yeah, they also seemed like these two needed advice. So as everyone is diving in, and we just want to say, like we say every month, we are not only live here on YouTube and Facebook, but over here we are also live on Instagram as well. So if you see us jumping back and forth between some cameras, that is what is going on. We hope for those of you that are watching on Instagram, you will play along. We like to do 50 state bingo on our lives, which is to just jump in and let us know where you are watching from, because it's really exciting to see not only across the states, but RV Miles is getting international, y'all. So it's kind of fun.
It's pretty great. We're on this journey from Baja to Alaska. We are just a little bit over halfway now that we've crossed into Canada, which is kind of frightening. The many, many miles still to go.
Oh my gosh.
There are going to be some rough miles ahead, we know.
No, not rough miles. Just learning miles.
I just mean in terms of physical road quality miles. So we're it's the weather has just been phenomenal, though. Everybody has been telling us, about expecting lots and lots of rain and chilliness when we're in Oregon, Washington, and now BC, and it has just been amazing. It's been like 70s the whole time. We're going to be in the 80s this week 80s Fahrenheit here in BC.
It's been amazing. It's lovely. Before we get really into all of that, I would like to say hello to, if you're on Instagram, our friends Clay and Jamie, who we are traveling with at Getting Out of Normal. I just saw Clay pop up over there. He is, if you'd like to ask them some questions about don't ask him what it's like to travel with us, because no truths tonight. But if you have questions for them, I know he's in the chat over on Instagram, and then they will be with us next month when we sit down to do this again with mile marker members, because we will be coming for the July live stream. We will be in Alaska, and so it feels really fitting to have Jamie and Clay join us for that. Other than that, over here, I would just like to say hello to my dad, who just popped in.
My dad did too.
Your dad is here. It's so nice to see family. We see a lot of friends in here as well, a lot of really familiar faces. So it's so wonderful to see all of you. Thank you for joining us. Let's, though, we talked a little bit about it, but let's just talk a little bit more about crossing the border into Canada. If y'all have any questions while we're talking about this, please drop them into the comments. Let us know what they are. We will do our very best to get to as many comments as we can, but they're kind of flying a little fast right now. So if we miss something and you really want us to answer it, please ask again.
So the border crossing, I guess we should say where we crossed, which was...
I don't remember its exact name.
What was the town that we were in?
So we staged just outside of Bellingham.
Bellingham, that's the name I'm looking for.
In Bellingham, Washington.
Yeah. We stayed at a Harvest Host the night before, which is similar to what we did the night before we went into Baja as well. It's nice to sort of just like have like a quick overnight right by the border.
And speaking of overnights and Harvest Hosts, I do just want to point out that Clay just said, I've never traveled with anyone who wanted to go to the brewery more than me until you guys. And I just feel like, I feel so proud. I feel so proud. That's great. And we get to do that because we do stay at a lot of Harvest Hosts. Yeah. And it's more than just like going and sitting down and having a drink. It is an opportunity with places like that for us to be able to safely let the kids hang out in the rig and just walk over and have a drink or have something to eat and have some.
This particular Harvest Host was a home store, which is a first for us. So it was like they had like, you know, pillows with sayings on them and signs and coasters and candles and stuff like that.
It was home decor. And it was, there was
like a little farmhouse home decor store.
Yeah, it was very cute. The property itself was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was like a dream property. Everything about it was a dream property. Yes, we did cross at the Pacific Crossing. We did cross at what is considered the truck crossing. We were given that intel by a border agent a few weeks prior when we went over to Victoria for the day when we were staying over in Port Angeles.
We just went sort of on foot on a ferry.
Yeah. We just took the ferry over to spend the day. And we were talking to the border agent and he was asking, you know, about our travel plans and being full-time RVers. They're always really curious about us as full-time RVers. And he recommended that we do the Pacific Crossing, that it would be easier and quicker, and they're used to dealing with bigger rigs. So
pardon me. And it took a I don't know, half hour maybe.
Maybe, and that was just sitting in traffic
and
mostly, and then talking.
This guy, border guy,
talked our ear off. He gave us intel on highways, top of the world, like what to do, where to go. I mean, he was just a wealth of information. At one point where I remember thinking to myself, boy, I really hope there's no one behind us. Because
there's a lot of people behind us, but I think there was only a certain amount of people that they can, you know, cross at a time, because they had all the lanes where they go inspect people. Yeah. We got to bypass, but
that was Did you grab Rachel's comment? Oh. This is in response to, that's what Emily was responding to. So Rachel would like to do a brewery caravan.
Yeah. I thought we should make a post or do a podcast episode on our favorite breweries that we visited in all of our time on the road.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Like that. Yeah, we can do that. We'll add that to the list of things to do.
So we crossed and then just stayed right on the other side of the border. So so it was really only about an hour's worth of drive time. So we planned that on purpose in case, you know, issues happen at the border, you know, God forbid, you can deal with them. And we kind of planned the same thing when we did Baja, and it worked really well.
Yeah, and I think if you remember, we did that crossing from when we went into Mexico as well. When we went into Baja, that time we stayed overnight at a Walmart that was really close to the crossing that we wanted to use. And the bonus for that was that Walmart also had a Starbucks in the parking lot, easy coffee in the morning, because that one we actually got there much earlier than we did for Canada. We showed up to the Canada crossing around noon on a Sunday. When we did Baja, it was a Sunday, but it was more like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, because we knew for sure we would be inspected there, and we wanted to allow enough time to get where we needed to go. We had a further drive in Baja than we did when we crossed into Canada. When we crossed into Canada, we only needed to drive about 40 minutes to the campground that we are currently at, that we are here for the week. I keep being like, I can't believe we're in Canada.
Yeah, and the rumors are true. Everyone's super nice.
Oh my gosh.
Incredibly nice. So we were walking around town last night, and I've got my phone sort of like on a selfie stick type thing, and just sort of getting shots of some of the buildings and some of the signs, and literally 5 different times people were like, "Oh, I wasn't in your way, was I?"
So sorry.
Really, like really worried that to the point where I was like, I'm putting this away because like I don't want them to feel like they have to come apologize to me.
It was really something. And all the rumors are true. It's so charming where we're at right now. Look, we're enchanted. We've only been here like 24 hours. Talk to us maybe when we get on the Alaska highway. I think we'll probably still be very, very enchanted, but it's quite exciting to be here. And we also got to scratch off we got to scratch off that little section of Canada on our map, which was great. Let's see here. Let's take some questions. Let's dig into this. So again, drop your questions if you've got them for us. Clay's over there on Instagram. You can ask him a question if you want about traveling Baja to Alaska. Traveling Cat Photos wants to know if we've had any mosquito issues.
We have finally, in the last 3 weeks or so, started to experience mosquitoes really for the first time, I think, on this whole Baja to Alaska journey. Not bad at all, but there have been some. I'm reaching down to scratch a bite on my foot. That's what you see me doing.
And I actually spent some time yesterday talking to a volunteer at this little train museum that we went into, and she was a wealth of information. Like this is a great tip. Oh, and Clay just said Jamie's on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you want to pop up some questions there, Jamie's over on Facebook and she can answer them there. If you go into one of a small to mid-sized town and they've got like a community center or a museum that's, a small historical society, and they've got a little museum and you can go in and you end up talking to someone who's a volunteer, that person will be a wealth of information about that community and about what to do in that community. And I spent long enough that Jason just decided to go ahead and leave. And he's like,
you talked to this woman for a half hour.
Yeah. Jason's like, Abby's in an old timey space talking to someone who likes old timey things. What's the point in sticking around? So she was able to share with me things to do, but then also was really able to share with me what are some great restaurants or things to do that are beyond just what tourists do. And that to me was so useful because that's often where we have some of our best experiences is kind of finding things that are off the beaten path or really just for people that live in that community. So I would say if you ever go into somewhere and you have an opportunity to stop into something like that, absolutely do it.
But the point was...
Oh, she told me about mosquitoes. Oh, sorry. She told me about mosquitoes and she said that they're not awful yet.
She apologized for the mosquitoes.
She did. She apologized for the mosquitoes. She said because they don't realize they're Canadian and shouldn't be biting us because we're visitors. But she also said that they're about 2 weeks out before they get real bad. So we'll see.
Was the border crossing between the U.S. and Canada comparable to the U.S. and Mexico crossing, or was one more strict than the other? In Mexico, they searched, and in here they didn't. But that doesn't mean, they do search RVs in Canada, and some of the ones going into Mexico don't get searched. So we got searched going into Mexico. Mm-hmm. I took a group of students to Canada many years ago, and they searched our bus very, very thoroughly. But it's students. So
we talked about this. You took college students from a theater department to a theater festival in Canada. Wonder they searched
but
you.
They do. But I feel like they have some of the similar feelings about RVers. Like, you don't know what they might have, and you're not allowed to bring certain things. And so I think you could expect anything, but both were fine.
Yeah, both were fine. They are different experiences, but I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Yeah. I liked actually having the Mexico border crossing experience under our belt before doing the one in Canada, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. But Yeah, both were totally fine.
Perfect example. We had a tough time crossing into Canada. Our rig was entirely searched with the toad as well, and it took over an hour.
Okay,
so
there you go.
I think they get thorough if they want to be.
I mean, like I said, they just must have taken a look at us and been like,
I think those lanes, I think the search lanes were really backed up, and they were just.
Oh, were they?
I think there's a certain number of vehicles that they're going to search, and there's a certain number that they're going to let by, and based on what they see on the cameras as you come in, they've got like their thermal imaging cameras and stuff. Based on what they see on that, if there's anything that they think might be suspicious at all, there's all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. So and all of it is really easy. Everyone is so nice. Like between crossing at the Mexican border and then encountering the security checkpoints throughout Mexico, and then also just what we encountered in Canada. Everyone that we talked to, even with the language barrier at times when we were in Baja, everyone was really nice. And often they were just very curious. They would ask us, when we were in Baja, they asked us about our electric bikes. They thought they were really cool. I think they might have talked to like Jamie and Clay about the beer they had in the cooler. They thought it tasted good or looked good.
I think they wanted to be offered one.
I think they wanted to be offered one probably. But like they just, but they talked to us.
Yeah.
And they did their best to talk to us, and they were really curious about us. And it was, we never once at either one did we ever feel like we weren't welcome or people didn't want us coming into their country.
This is a left turn question, but I want to answer it anyway. Have you ever used a Technor collapsible drinking water hose? If so, what was your opinion of it? We're about to get our very first rig. Congratulations. And are getting our needed items. So not this brand, but I have had a couple collapsible hoses, and I think they are great except for a few different things. One, from ours failed after a certain amount of time. And from what I understand from a lot of people that use any of the different brands of collapsible hoses, like the 0G ones or whatever, that they eventually fail because there's some sort of weird like balloony looking mechanism that's in the end of the nozzle. So that's something to think about, to make sure you always have a backup. But it's very convenient to have them sort of collapse that small when you unhook them. The other thing is that the contents are under pressure because it is a self-collapsing hose. So when you unhook your hose, you want to make sure, and most of them come with a shutoff on the open end, right? So you've got the end you hook up to the faucet, that you're going to shut off there, and then there's usually a shutoff on the other end. That's actually really convenient to have, but it's essential because if you try to unhook the water with that on, it's just going to spray everywhere, even if you shut the water off at the hose bib, because of the pressure in that. As it wants to shrink, it just starts shooting everything out.
Is that why the guy was blowing into his hose today when they were next to us?
I didn't see what type of hose he had, but that is actually another thing to think about too. It's like, if you're going to have your hose in storage for a long amount of time, you really want to be able to get all the water out of it, so that you don't have mold build up inside of it or anything nasty like that. You can sanitize them and stuff with bleach, but you want to get out as much water out as possible. And it can be a little hard to get all the water out of those collapsible hoses. And I've had a few people say that they have had mold issues with those.
Okay. Clay would like us to know that they are going strong with their second, what are those, the 0Gs?
They're 0G.
Yeah, they're going strong with it.
With their second one. Yeah.
Oh, look who's over on Instagram. It's Willie. Hey, buddy. We haven't talked to you in a really long time. We love you too, man. It's so good to see you. My gosh. So our friend Willie, he works over at Heartland. He is hands down, if you ever get a chance to run into him over at like an RV show.
If you've been at one of the big RV shows, you probably have run
into him. And he is larger than life, and he brings joy to anyone who gets to encounter some time with him. So it is fantastic to see you, my friend. Rachel wanted to know how long we plan to be in Alaska. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I missed that.
We are planning to get into Alaska. We plan to hit the Alaska Highway somewhere around June 17th, I think and everything is very fluid right now. But we plan to get there around June 17th. We should get into Alaska somewhere around the beginning of July. And then we will be out of Alaska in and around Labor Day-ish. Maybe. Who knows? Really,
it's a little loose.
It's very loose because really the end goal, the end is that we know we have to be in Amana, Iowa around September 25th, 26th, because that's when we're doing the very first annual RV Miles Homecoming meetup.
Do you want to talk about that now? Is this a good time to talk about that?
Was that the prettiest little segue you have ever seen? So, go for it.
We are having a meetup at the beginning of October, and we are hoping that this becomes an annual event, that it gets bigger and bigger every year, and that is sort of really like an end of the summer camping season rally. So this is going to be, if you were somebody that was at our last meetup that we had in Camp Verde, Arizona,
2021,
this is going to be bigger than that. That was sort of a just let's all hang out thing. This is going to be a little bit more structured in that we're going to feed you. We're going to have meals in the evening.
We are going to treat you Midwest right. Okay, we're going to feed you. We are going to have outings to a Renaissance fair. I mean, it is Midwest love. Like, so, I'm so excited for this.
It's going to be happening in the Amana colonies. And I can bring up my little shared screen thing here.
Oh, fancy shared screen over on YouTube.
It's going to be in the Amana colonies, which is sort of like an old German settlement in Amana, Iowa. And you can see all sorts of like these old German heritage buildings, but there's all kinds of wineries and food and a lot of historic crafts and stuff like that in the Amana colonies. It's a really great sort of like walking tourist type stuff where you go into all these little small quaint shops with antiques and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to do that. And then there is, as Abby mentioned, a Renaissance fair happening at the same time. So we're going to do that. We're going to have coffee talks where we chat about RVing. We're going to have
coffee chat.
We're going to have games.
Coffee talk.
We're going to have a whole lot of fun. Yeah. And it is going to have a price to it this time. Last one was free.
Outside of the camping
fee.
Yeah.
But we're not looking to make any cash off this. This is really to cover the food and events and stuff.
Yeah. This just keeps the event in the red.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's going to be $200 a person and free for kids. And plus your camping. So, but the camping's super cheap, $35 a night for full hookups.
And if you needed even more of a reason to go, our friend Clay just let us know that Amana is the home of Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, yeah.
So if you need to take an Ashton Kutcher pilgrimage, you want to start there because that's where he was born.
Fun story. There was one time, like in college, like I just got a haircut. Okay. And this woman came up to me and she thought I was Ashton Kutcher. I know I don't look like anything like Ashton Kutcher. Okay. Not like, but she did not believe me that I was not Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, she did not.
She really, really was adamant that I was and that I was lying to her.
You were Ashton Kutcher.
I was.
So this is going to be a really great event. I think
your
haircut looks great. I don't know what haircut it was, but your hair looks fantastic.
But yeah, so it's the as we've said many times, this is going to be open to mile marker members first, and then everybody else after.
And so that opens, if you're a mile marker member and you're watching this, that is opening up for you tomorrow. I will share that in the mile marker Facebook group. Then it is going to open up to the general public on June 13th. We will share, there is an article where you can see everything that we have planned over at rvmiles.com. If you didn't know, rvmiles.com is back up and running. We are creating content over there for you. And that is in thanks to the mile marker members out there that are helping us make this possible. So go over to rvmiles.com, find that article, read up on everything, and please come and join us because this really is a homecoming for Jason and me. Listen, Dave and Sue, mom and dad are going to be there. There's a potential my brother Jason is going to be there. My childhood friends, Jenny and Grant, might be there. Your parents might be there. Jamie and Clay are going to be there. This is such a homecoming for us, such a celebration of the fact that for the last year and a half, we have not been home to our family. We asked, a lot of our family to give us the space to go out and do what we needed to do for RV Miles and for ourselves. And they have graciously supported us every step of the way, knowing that they would miss time with their grandkids, that they would not see us at the holidays, that it's hard for them to come out and see us because we'd be all the way on the West Coast, and then in different countries, and then all the way up in Alaska.
So we hope you'll join us. I know it is a little late for some of you. Have already made a lot of your fall plans. Some of you going to the balloon fiesta that is happening at the same time.
I know. I see
in
you,
Albuquerque.
Peggy and Tony.
But if you cannot make it because of scheduling issues or whatever, pencil it in for next year, because we hope this becomes an annual thing.
And we hope it becomes an annual thing there. We have really liked working with the people at this campground.
It's a great park. The sites
so
are
nice.
huge, and $35 a night for full hookups, and it's just, you can't beat it.
It's fantastic. So that's a little bit of news we have now. We will come back to our other piece of news later. Let's grab some questions. Someone wanted to know where you got this shirt.
This shirt is from Target, right?
No.
No?
Is it?
I think this is from Target. Lots of my shirts are from Target. Yeah.
This is a Target shirt. Yeah, a lot of
Target often has like National Park, and I'm wearing a Explore the USA shirt in our first day in Canada, second day in Canada, but whatever. Someone mentioned
Jason just really wants to make sure that they know.
I can't find where the comment. We just passed it somewhere. Somebody mentioned something about bear spray in Canada being illegal, and that they had their vehicles searched because of it. From what I understand, I don't know if it's all Canada or just BC, that has changed now, and that bear spray is allowed again. So something to check into.
Thank you. Oopsies. Oh God, you're using like an actual real mouse, and I can't handle it. It's just so weird. Thank you, Yvette. That is so very kind of you. We, as much as you appreciate us, just know we appreciate all of you.
Were you able to get Starlink to work at Fort Stevens State Park?
You gonna talk about this?
Here's a little story, friends, that I told Abby we couldn't tell on the podcast.
Jason wouldn't let me talk about this on the podcast. So for the 200 of you here, you get to hear, and for all the thousands of you that will probably come back and watch this later, you get to hear this piece of information. Do not add us about this. Okay. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten anything from us that week. You would not have been enjoying the podcast. You would not have been enjoying the news video.
All right. So we arrive, and Jamie and Clay are in the site next to us. Mm-hmm. It is very wooded. We're near a clearing, but we're getting nothing off of Starlink. And we're really struggling to figure out how we're going to make it work, because we also were not getting any sort of cellular data. And, we had specific needs. Jamie and Clay had specific work needs as well. Clay does lots of work calls. So that can be challenging for him. So we came up with a very last minute plan. We arrived late at this park. Again, Fort Stevens is like one of the largest campgrounds in the nation. We on the latest podcast, and the site across from us was kind of wide open in a clearing, and nobody was in it,
and it wasn't booked.
So we went online. We tried to see if it was booked. Thought about moving to it, but that wasn't going to be a possibility because it wasn't open for our whole stay. But it was open for the next 4 days until the busy weekend. So we actually booked a site for 4 days for our Starlink.
Yeah.
We did put this gazelle tent over in the site.
There are 500 sites in this park.
We made it a communal workspace so that we could get work done over there. And then we had to take it down for the busy weekend. But no, there was another family that had run their Starlink through the woods and put it on the bike path on a stand.
It was on a big tripod.
It was kind of like, I was kind of like, oh, that's going to make Starlink users not look good.
No.
So, no, I would not count on Starlink anywhere at Fort Stevens State Park.
No, not at all. And we don't advocate that you do what we did, but the situation was desperate, and it was either that or go pay a whole lot of money over at the KOA.
There's a
with
very
no
nice
guarantee that we'd actually be able to make it work there.
There's a very nice KOA across the street that has a lot more sky room, but it is a lot more expensive. But you could still visit Fort Stevens easily from there.
Yeah. Just to answer this one, do you know if the campground is going to put all the meetup members in the same section of the campground?
Yes.
Yes, they are. So going back to homecoming really quick. Look, some of you have figured out where this is at. It's not hard to figure out where this is happening.
There's like one campground there.
I know. So. My only request though is please don't call them at all yet to book
until
anything.
until you have
until you've registered up. and done all that side, which when the tickets go on sale, because they're not expecting any phone calls and they're not expecting anything until the dates that we have put together. So please, just if you figured out where it's at, please don't call them. And otherwise they won't be able to put you in the section with all of us.
I can also tell you right now that they don't have availability the week before our event, because that's Oktoberfest there, and it's very busy. So that if you were going to call to ask that, they don't have it. So but it's going to be a great park to stay at, and yeah, they're going to put us all together in the same area. We've got a big building that we get to use as a communal space for all the different happenings and our food and all that sort of stuff. Oh my
gosh, you guys, you're gonna love the Hy-Vee catering. It is gonna be off the charts.
Hy-Vee potatoes. If you haven't had mustard potato salad from Hy-Vee, you don't know what you've been missing.
You don't know what you've been missing. It's so good. Okay, so someone wanted to know let's get back to Alaska for a second, because I know you all have a lot of questions about Alaska. How are you preparing Bexy for the rough road to Alaska? So one of the things that we have, which Bexy came with, is obviously the full-size spare. We also went with the Ibex 20 BHS that you see behind you, because we really wanted something with that beast mode,
independent suspension. And I gotta say, I am in love with the independent suspension, and I think every travel trailer should come with it. So basically each wheel, all four wheels on the Ibex, have their own spring and shock, like you would on a lot of cars and trucks. And it makes the roads so much nicer. There's a lot more travel in the suspension, and you don't have to worry about. I actually talked to somebody the other day who was making their way up the Alaska Highway to Alaska, and they broke shackles on their leaf spring suspension. And luckily they had spare shackles and were able to find a local welder to come put them on. But had they not had those on them, they might have been in some trouble. We don't have shackles on this, which is really cool.
And I will say too, I think that just Bexy's size is really perfect for something like this. There's not a lot to move around and rattle and fall apart, which helps.
We have also done a thing where so we sort of did all of this before Baja, right? Because Baja has rough roads too. So we knew we had to put a lot of stuff in here. And one of the things we figured out was that we could make mounting points all over the place by screwing like D-rings into rafters in the roof and into the floor, where we knew there was actually a physical board to screw into, right? Or a steel beam. And we then ran rope in between those and tied a bunch of loops in those ropes so that we could attach all kinds of stuff to that. So we have backpacks hanging all over the place. We're going to do a full video on that soon.
It's someday. We're going to get around.
But that allowed us to sort of have a bunch of stuff hanging from the ceiling and on the walls that can kind of move with the RV as it goes down the road.
Yeah. So that's really how Bexy has been set up. Obviously for Fordo, as the kids have named the trimmer, we have a full-size spare as well. But the Ford, and I don't want to praise it too much because, but this is hopefully what this truck was designed for. This is why we bought this truck. We bought this truck so that we could get to places like this and have a truck that could handle it. So
yeah, I mean, look, lots of people go up to Alaska with a very normal rig,
pulling their trailer with a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
sure. but I think we certainly knew that we were going to put a lot of abuse on everything, going all the way down to Baja and back, and then all the way up to Alaska and back, and doing maybe more like Forest Service type roads than other people do and stuff like that.
And our friend at the Canadian border, he gave us the 411 on all these roads, and he has prepared us to, and I think he thought we didn't know what we were getting into, but we were like, no, we got this. And we also have done maintenance. So over the last several weeks, both families have had the trucks in to be serviced, to have the tires rotated. We've done everything that we can do to prepare.
Yeah, we got oil change, and we got the differential oil change and stuff like that.
So, we're excited. We're confident. We're not, going into this blind. We know that things are going to happen, and you are all going to be some of the first to hear it, especially if you are a Mile Markers member. We share a lot of the behind the scenes stuff there before it lands.
For many of you, you might remember that our first day in Baja, we had a flat tire.
We did. Now, I was going to say that's the one thing to consider with the independent suspension is that actually when you went to go lift Bexy, it was harder because it wasn't all coming up together. It was balancing itself.
We also didn't have a jack.
Well, yes, but even when we were
which we have rectified.
Which we have
so there were several things.
Even in the campground in San Francisco, we still had to compensate for the fact that it's not like a traditional changing of a tire when you have that.
Because the suspension travels more. Yeah. If you go, say what we did was made a ramp to go up on one wheel so that the other wheel would float, right? But that wheel traveled more down because there's more suspension play. So really you just had to make a bigger ramp was the issue.
So I just want to grab this because this is coming from Ava, a delightful Ava, are you 11, 12? I can't quite remember, but I know you're delightful. And this is her mom asking this question.
I'm going to guess 13.
Okay. There's been several of you who've had some really nice things to say, and several of you who've had some not very nice things to say about my hat tonight, and that's fine too. So this hat actually, Ava, is from it says Disney Cruise Line on it. So I picked this up when we went on our Disney cruise back in January, and it is absolutely one of my favorite hats. We all picked up some various designed like this Disney Cruise Line, and I just felt like I wanted to wear it tonight for this live.
So Casey says, brought spare shackles. I thought I travel prepared and evidently not. Yeah. And I mean, we've been with our good friends. The Armsteads had a shackle break on them.
That's right.
It happens even on normal roads.
I forgot all about that.
But a couple other things that we have done is that because there's two families traveling together, some of us have different things. Like, so Jamie and Clay have a spare water pump. We have some traction boards in case we get stuck in some mud somewhere. We've got a toe strap, stuff like that. So just some recovery gear, and hopefully, we don't have any issues that we can't fix, but we've got our, full set of tools and that sort of stuff.
We'll figure it out when we get there. Ivan would like to know, Ivan Josie, RV-Journey would like to know, how far north are you going in Alaska? As far as the roads will take us. I think we're going to top of the world. That is the plan. That is the hope. But again, we remain really fluid with all of this because, again, we're two families traveling together. So that's really important to make sure that everyone is taken care of and everyone is safe and we have everything that we all need.
This is also new for us because, we're two families who work full time.
Yeah, so that too. And kids are still in school and there's just a lot to figure out.
It takes us more than most people who are vacationing or are retired or whatever. It takes us more time to visit an area because we can't go into town as often and that sort of stuff.
But just to grab what Bad Decisions RV over here is saying, yes, we do have reservations at Denali. We will be at Denali. We do have places we want to go to. As far as north, we're going totally past Denali. We're going to go up a little bit further, and then we're going to start coming down, and we're going to make our way down in towards southern Alaska. And then we'll kick out. So that is the plan. Let's see. I saw another question I wanted to grab. Oh, someone asked if we like staying at KOAs.
So here's the thing about KOA. So I actually the latest news video just went out today. If you haven't checked it out on YouTube, and one of the things that was in it is KOA is introducing a new type of site that they're calling their signature site, and it is a sort of massive site with like all kinds of amenities, like outdoor games and stores, stuff like that. They already have like a premium level. Now they've got a signature site that it's going to be at like 50 different campgrounds across the country. Not a lot of them. They're like 500 KOAs in North America. The thing about KOA that I always remind people, because there's a lot of people that say, oh, we never go to KOA because it's too expensive, or they have whatever opinions they might have about it. KOA is a very, very loosely run franchise. They do have sort of a basic,
so loosely run.
There's a basic minimum level of amenities and quality that they're supposed to have. And they do have a team of folks that travel around in fifth wheels to go to these different campgrounds and make sure that they're all living up to it as much as they can. But you want to sip a little more on that and you're going to get all the bubbles out. But KOAs are almost all independently owned. And drink mine?
I might.
They're KOA corporate owns like 15 campgrounds out of the 500. The rest are all independently owned, and they vary in quality and price and amenities as much as the campground across the street. It's just a name. It really doesn't really mean much at all. You know, somebody could say, yeah, KOA is too expensive. But what's the campground across the street from it cost? If that, you know, it doesn't have the same amenities and stuff. We've found affordable KOAs. We've found expensive ones. We've been to amazing ones with all sorts of amenities. We've been to really natural feeling ones, and we've been to some terrible ones. It just depends.
Ethan just took that off the door. It's so cute. So I'm sad.
Your drink's gone.
I know. Yeah, we need an RV Miles bartender.
We need a pitcher. The next time. Is what we need.
I should have made a pitcher but I was running out of time because we have been very, very busy today putting together an entirely new Mile Markers membership, and that kept me from being able to make large copious amounts of cocktails today. So I apologize, my dear.
My dad is asking about bear spray. Because we were talking about it earlier. So bear spray it's basically a pepper spray like you would have like mace. But mace is sort of usually a stream, where bear spray emits a cloud. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Do not keep bear spray thinking that you're going to use it for self-defense against people inside your RV.
No, please don't.
I accidentally set ours off for like a 100th of a second, and we couldn't step foot in that RV for hours.
It was
bad,
awful,
because it releases a cloud. And what you do when a bear is near you, you spray back and forth towards the ground-ish, not the ground, but like you make a low cloud of the spray that the bear isn't going to want to come through.
Right.
So it's great to have if you're in grizzly country. Don't really need it in black bear country. People are concerned about black bears a lot, but the number of black bear injuries are very, very, very small. But if you're in grizzly country, it's good to have. And we are going to be in grizzly country, and we'll probably pick some up now that it is available again for sale in Canada. Rachel, just so you have something on you.
Rachel would like you to know that you did not read the room well. I so beautifully transitioned us into being able to talk about mile markers, and you were like, "Choom!"
I didn't even hear you.
When I
totally missed it.
Shocking. When I was like, you know, we spent all day like working on mile marker stuff, and you were like,
"Okay, let's talk about mile markers.
Let's talk about bear spray."
So listen, okay. So we started year. Rachel, it's good that Rachel's here because this is all Rachel's fault.
It is all Rachel's fault. It's 100% Rachel's fault, but she's also a member, and she can attest to how fantastic it is. Hopefully,
Rachel very kindly. We forever have avoided doing any sort of paid community for many reasons. We just didn't we didn't feel comfortable.
We felt weird.
We don't want to take people's money and stuff like that.
So weird. Rachel's heard all this
Rachel
before,
just
too.
like
she was like
grabbed our necks and was like, "We want to support you.
It was like
give us a way to support you." So we started working with the different platforms' ability to do paid memberships, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook primarily. And what we have found is that it is a mess and is difficult, and those 3 platforms take too much of your money. They're taking like over 35% of it, and what it creates is a scenario where they're trying to drive traffic to their sites, right? They don't want anybody to leave the sites. And as social media wars continue, we don't want to be involved. And we want to have our community be our community. We want to have you with us, where we can connect with you via email and through our own website.
Yeah, we just wanted more. We just wanted to create a space where those who wanted to be there in that capacity, where we could really create a smaller community. We're so thankful for how large everything has gotten. But, sometimes as you continue to grow and you get bigger and you're so thankful for all of that, it sometimes makes you turn a little bit more inward as well. Like just the few people tonight that have given me crap about this hat have just made me, I wouldn't take this hat off for the world, but like, I hate that. It makes me sad. And so sometimes that makes you turn a little inward. So we have started this mile marker community, and over the time that we've been doing it, we didn't really like how it was going. So starting literally right this very moment, if you like what we're doing here and you would like to be a part of this every month, we do have this mile marker community that has now moved to a platform called Memberful. And not only have we created this platform, but we have also created some incredible, because of the people who have been Ground Roots OG members, we have been able to create not one new podcast, but there will now be 2 new podcasts available exclusively to mile marker members. Our amazing friends over at RV Today and Rootless Living will be giving Mile Marker Plus monthly and annual subscribers a free subscription to their magazines.
Yeah, so let's actually show you what is involved. So basically, what we're going to be doing
but there's a lot of questions about Alaska to get to, so let's not take too much time.
We'll make it really quick.
I know, really quick.
I also, people that don't want to do this,
because don't care. I want to talk to people, and I don't want people to be like, "Hi."
So what we're doing is providing you 3 different options here for and hopefully Google will remove the ads from this page from our website. But what we're doing is offering 3 different tiers. So if you are a mile marker member already, you're paying $5 a month. We have just basically taken what mile markers get right now and moved it to $4 a month.
Yeah.
So you get access to the Facebook group where we try to chat with you a little bit more. You get this monthly live stream that we're doing here. We'll probably do once or twice a year for everybody, but for just mile markers, we do this every single month. And you're going to get a discount on our merchandise. You're going to get first pick on our events, all at that $4 level.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in.
Sure.
You ready? Okay.
Yeah.
So for $7 a month or an annual fee of $70,
am I going too slow?
You are. This is where Abby gets into the podcast.
But you're going to skip important stuff.
No, I never. I just get to the meat of it, my dear. So for $7 a month or $70 for the year, $70 for the year is 2 months free, friends.
In case you can't do math like me and think a year is 10 months like I often do.
What we're doing is not only are you going to get those other things, the live and the Facebook group, but we are creating 2 new podcasts. One is called the Detour Podcast, and that is going to be a short bonus episode every week. It's going to be about 15 minutes long. It's either going to pick up a topic from that week's show that we couldn't expand on, or most likely it is going to come from this man's brain because he has so many things he wants to talk about. But we never have the time. So this Detour Podcast is going to let us do that. Once a month, we are going to do something called the U-Turn Podcast, an RV Miles revisit podcast, where you the Mile Marker Plus member gets to select from the 279 episodes that we have done, the one that you want us all to go back and listen to and revisit. And I know you guys are going to make me go back into the archives. You are going to make me listen to those first like 50 episodes, which are just so what I don't want to listen to. But we're going to go back. We're going to revisit them. We're going to talk about, hey, have they held up over time? Do we still feel this way about something? And just there's so much that we've done that we want to talk to you all about. So,
and my favorite part of all of this is that the Plus members are going to get a year of Rootless Living and RV Today magazine. They're both great magazines. The digital edition, you can also get $10 off a print edition if you want. And then if you do that annual support, which we really, really appreciate, you're going to get a lifetime membership. You're going to get a lifetime digital subscription to both Rootless Today, Rootless Living and RV Today magazines from our friends that really do put out a fantastic, two fantastic magazines.
Those magazines are fantastic. We will, again, you can go to rvmiles.com/milemarkers to learn more. We will also drop that in the comment.
We're just putting this out because there's a lot of work to be done on this still. So you can sign up now and you get what's there. What are you trying to do?
What are you trying to do? Go back to comments. How do I get to comments?
You just closed them. You just.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. But so you can go sign up now, and then we're going to terminate the other sorts of memberships that are already out there. And those of you that already have one out there, we're going to give you 1 month free to just make the transition easy.
That's a question that was coming up. If you're in the RV Miles Mile Marker, if you're a Mile Marker member, either on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, over the next month, I'm going to be transitioning to shut that down. But for all of you that are there already, I will be contacting you with a code for 1 month free, so that you don't have, for those of you that are doing the monthly in those places, you're not paying anything extra to switch over and join us there. We want to make sure that your money is well spent and honored. So I will be rolling that out and talking to all of you to make sure that you have that, and that you can use that code to get that free month.
If you already have Rootless Living or RV Today, which some of you are mentioning how great they are, you can just gift that membership to somebody else.
Yeah, and I know that we have a Mile Marker member who actually paid for a whole year of that, and I will also reach out to you privately and get you moved into this group for the rest of the year as well. So we are not asking anything extra from those of you that are already with us. 100%. We want to take care of you that way as well. And clearly Damien must be here, because he just messaged me and would like all of you who are current Mile Marker members to know that he would like us to provide the link to you all as well, so that you can make sure to get your benefits too. Yeah. So thank you to our friends over there. Thank you to all of us who are allowing us to do this.
Okay, listen, Dean.
His face is always red.
Here's the thing. What we have found is that our last screen tent was gray for a reason. This one is brown, and it makes us look red.
It does. Yes. OG means you were just like the originals.
Original gangster is what it means. That's what it means.
We just gotta let him cook. Okay, just gonna let y'all cook. That's apparently like, it cracks me up. This is how my kids define everything now. Like, Mom, you just gotta let him cook. Just let him cook.
Look, Doug's already bought an annual membership. Thank you,
Doug. Has Michael and Mickey have, like, y'all. So the thing too, for anyone who does go and do the annual membership, you won't need that code, because we've built in the discount by doing the 2 months there to make sure that you don't have to worry about that.
And if you're like,
you guys,
if you don't do it right away or whatever, we're not like going to kick people out of the Facebook group or anything.
No. And also we're going to have someone, she's been in here all night. Emily is going to be working with me to make sure that not only we can get everybody into the group, the Facebook group, or the posts that you're going to get from us on Memberful, but to also make sure that Jason and I stay on task and get this content out to you. That's really important. These podcasts are going to be so much fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
They're going to be highly unedited, just so you know.
And they will be in video version, because we do recognize that some of you listen to the RV Miles podcast, actually, that you watch it, and that you watch it over on the RV Miles podcast YouTube channel.
And if you use podcast apps, you'll be able to pick them up right in your podcast app. There's no special place that you have to go to. You'll get a private link that will allow you to set it up in Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app you use. There are a few that don't work with it, but it'll also be available for those that don't listen to podcasts on apps. Like Abby said, in video, we'll still post them into the Facebook group. We'll post them in the actual membership website as well.
So my dad says that it actually stands for old guy.
Sure, Dave.
Is that how you're feeling these days?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
There's been a lot of conversations about the joys and some of the pitfalls of getting older.
Look, my cousin Angie just posted it. She just shared a spam post on Facebook, and I commented. I was like, look, Angie, she's like, I don't know, she's like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not at the age yet where we fall for spam posts.
We're not doing this yet.
Sorry to you.
Yeah.
To those of you that are of that age where you fall for spam posts.
No one fall for spam posts. Read all of it. Just read. Sooner than later, RV would like to know if they can use RV Miles 10X.
No, that is for road trippers only.
You can use that for road pass, my friends.
Road pass.
So if you would like to go over and get a road pass, feel free to use that there. They are not an official sponsor of This Life, nor an unofficial sponsor.
Are you guys staying full-timers?
Oh, stop. Who just asked that?
For now. I mean, we are.
Who is that?
I don't know. It says Facebook user. It's somebody in the group.
It's like they
for
have
those of you that don't know,
in my head or something.
Sometimes Facebook doesn't like to tell us who it is. We mentioned this last month, I think, as well. Is we are working towards beginning the transition to buy a house. That doesn't mean we're not going to still travel extensively. We're just at the point where we're ready to have a house for a few different times of year, especially where we can sit down for a few months, crank a bunch of work out, get back on the road.
There's a joke somewhere to be found there.
But yeah, we're working on moving away from being full-time. It's been almost 7 years now.
One of the things we've noticed, and this doesn't happen for everyone, but we have kids that are getting older. Our oldest is going to be 16. He will turn 16 while we are in Alaska, and he has some desires and some wants. And our kids, our 12-year-old, soon to be 13, is very into organized sports and would really like the opportunity to do that. And we feel that the best way to do that is to give them a place where they can start to build a community that they need to be building for themselves. So that they can transition from our home to a home of their own. And we know that can absolutely be done on the road. But frankly, we've been traveling for 7 years and we love every single thing about it. Really, even the things we don't love, we still love them. But we also know that we've always said 100%, this is a family decision. The family has to be happy. And our kids are happy and they are loving what we're doing, but they have desires that they've had for a while that we cannot fulfill on the road. Yeah. And I appreciate Taryn saying that it's all good. Don't be scared or ashamed to do what is right for your family. And we've had some fears.
There's a weird thing though that a lot of people
would look at us as like, oh, of course you're getting off the road.
Well,
it's so miserable, or
that happened a couple years ago, where there was a lot of articles going out around there where there was like full-timers getting off the road because it's so hard out there, and a lot of people like full-timers giving up and stuff. I think for the type of people that want to full-time RV, they're always looking for an adventure, and at least a lot of us, I think that's us. And I think we're at the point where we feel like, because we've never had a house,
we've never owned
that, like, a house is kind of our next adventure.
We rented a second floor walk-up 3-bedroom 1-bath apartment in Chicago before we launched, and we've never owned a home. We've never been homeowners. That is a totally new experience for us. My heart is 100% broken into two pieces over all of this. The piece that is looking forward to this new adventure, and then the piece that doesn't know how to reconcile not being
I
don't know how to come to, I don't know how to
I'm the same way, but my it's broken for in many fractions, because one is with you, wants to sort of travel everywhere. One is excited about sort of a new adventure type thing, and one, I'm really serious in this. A big part of why I want to go back to having a home base is that RV Miles has grown so much. You all have been so supportive of us, and we've created something that we're very proud of. And it is a struggle to get all the content that we want done.
We're renting third campsites in order to get internet.
I want a space where we can really spend some time focusing on getting the relevant information that you all want
and deserve and need. And we want to have a better schedule. You know, we have some health issues that we need to take care of as well. And so we need to be somewhere that we can do that. And, you know, nothing about what we do here is going to change. If you're thinking that RV Miles is going away and you're not going to hear from us anymore, that is not the case. We're going to be all up in your business constantly, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it.
Look, it's my cousin. He would like to know where we're looking for homes.
Midwest.
Yes,
Midwest. It's a great launching off point, but also that
we're going to move back home. It's either hi Instagram. We just lost power to the
it just totally died.
We're either going to move back to my home or her home. And I'm from Western Illinois. Abby's from Kansas City. It'll be one of the two. You might have to
it's not gonna.
You might have to take that down and set it down there.
Oh
so
my God,
we have
hilarious. Maybe it's like, look, we gave you an hour, be done already.
Instagram does not play well with these sort of streaming platform we use, or any platforms. So we have to stream to Instagram separately from an iPhone, and it was held up by our motorized gimbal, and the gimbal died, and the phone just went.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll probably be, you know, we look to still split 6 and 6, 9 and 3 would be my preferred. But we will definitely be on the road just as much as we are in a house. And then we will just be closer to family who actually can provide us with some support we so desperately need in order to be able to go to some events we want to go to and do a bunch of things we want to do. So that's at least another year out, though. I mean, this is not happening like tomorrow. It's going to be a long time.
Will you still homeschool when you settle down, or send the kids? We homeschooled.
We'll homeschool.
We homeschooled before we got on the road, and that kind of is what helped lead us into going on the road. We had the freedom to do it.
Taryn, these are not bugs on the roof. These are just like little.
They look like bugs, aren't they? They're like the mini little helicopter seeds.
Yeah. There's nothing. So we are, it's been an hour, but there's just so many great questions here. So why don't we just try to do like a rapid fire for like 5-10 minutes, and then we can call it.
Okay.
To not keep people here for all night long.
Okay.
So that means I'm going to need this.
Okay.
Because you're literally scrolling up to the beginning of all these questions like an hour ago.
I can't see it very well.
I know.
Why don't
you have your glasses on?
Well, because we're far enough from the. This is getting into the details here. We're far enough from the screen that the glasses don't help.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let me see. Maybe not. These are just everyone sharing all their wonderful things of support for us about what we're going to do.
That's why I was scrolling so far back.
That's so sweet. It's so sweet. So
I was going to cry. We've been here forever. And
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's weird to think about. But if you want to see us work through this process in real time, become a mile marker member, because every month we'll get on here and you'll see us melt down as we try to navigate being on the road and navigate this next step that's coming for our family in so many different ways.
Here's a question. Would you consider providing a digital list of campgrounds and tips for others to use as a guide who wants to travel the same or similar route?
Well, somebody's in my head these days, because that is actually what we're working on.
That's another thing that we would love to be able to have the time to sit down and do more of that sort of stuff, to give you sort of a travel guide of our whole Baja to Alaska route, for instance, or a travel guide to Baja, travel guide to BC, and travel guide to Alaska. And some of the places that we have been that not a lot of people write about that we love, like traveling the Great River Road, which is along the Mississippi. There are a lot of places that we have been that we don't see lots of articles out there about, that we sort of really want to cover. Our friends earlier mentioned that they had a great time at that Oxark campground.
Yeah.
Some of our favorite. I think
it was our RV travels. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
And some of our favorite sort of like Midwestern and Southern campgrounds. We've been to so many really great places. We would love to start putting lots of lists of stuff like that together for y'all.
We would love to be able to share those with you. Here's a really quick one. Did you use mileposts to plan? You bet your
We've
bottom
had 2
dollar
mileposts now because we've lost one. But the
milepost
is sort of a guidebook to the routes through Canada to Alaska, and it is such a detailed guidebook that I wish there were guidebooks like that for other places across the country.
There's so much. It's almost overwhelming. There's so much information in it. So I think on that, rounding back up to Alaska, I think it's time to call it for the night. Jason and I have yet to have dinner. It's only 7:00 here in Canada.
Hey, but it's light. I mean, we're so used to these live streams and starting sort of in a little bit of light and ending up in the dark, and the next several are not going to.
No, it's not getting dark here till 9:30, almost 10:00 at night. It's wild. We've learned to sleep with eye masks on because it's also the sun is coming up ridiculously early.
We have this great front window in the ibex, but it lets a lot of light in right at our faces.
So this was really wonderful. This was great to connect with so many of you that we haven't had a chance to talk to in a really long time. So really, truly, from the bottom of Jason and I's hearts, thank you so much for spending this hour with us. Thank you to those of you who have already gone over to the mile marker community and become members there. Like that is unbelievable to me. So thank you for that.
To be clear, if you do sign up, the new podcasts are coming. They're not there yet. There's not much there, but it's all coming very quickly.
But there's a lot to be found in the mile markers Facebook group, and that is a really beautiful community. We also understand that if that is not something you are interested in doing, or that you can't do at the moment, there are still really wonderful ways to connect with us. And the biggest one is to just go and join the large RV Miles Facebook group. Jason and I are very active over there. There's 13,000 members there, and you will be able to find a community that is supportive and encouraging to your RV.
And our focus will always be the larger RV Miles community, everyone out there. We're not going to, hide most of our content behind the paywall. It's just sort of additional little bonus things that we would love to do for those of you who have been so kind to support us. And we appreciate all of you, whether you are able to do that or not.
There is no Cool Kids Club.
But if you want to be a part of this live stream next month, you got to sign up to be a mile marker member.
But you're always welcome at our campfire. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see those of you next month, and then we will see the rest of you across anywhere. You know where to find us. Big hearts to all of you. We shall see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.